All right. So, first of all, how many of you guys attended our sleep and reflexology class? Raise your hands. Oh, that's great. Oh, super. Wonderful. And how many of you guys used one of our blends, Sleep Well or Night Night, in the last couple days? Oh, that's super. And put it in the chat which ones that you preferred. I'm going to check here real quick. Oh, okay. Let's see. Okay, someone says, I like the sleep well so far. That's great. That seems to be one. Susan says her husband prefers sleep well. She prefers sleep well. And she says, my husband even loves it. And Deborah says, night, night. Oh, that's so great. You know, Susan, you brought up a really wonderful point in aromatherapy is that we need to make sure our partner who's sleeping with us likes the smell too. Otherwise, it could keep them up. So it's like my husband, he's been around so many essential oils all of his life that he really doesn't like any kind of aroma in the room. So, and he'll say, what did you put on? You know, if I put on some kind of a carrier oil, I'll go, oh, like that to me. So we have to make sure that our partner likes the smell of what we're putting on when we're in the same bed. So that's really great. And I see that we have a great question from Deborah. So, Deborah, let me go to that because you said here about the class, you said about the sleep apnea study mentioned in day one. How were the oils used with these patients, and did the patients wear their CPAP mask? So, I'm gonna turn off my screen real quick here, and let me go to day one. And let's see if it shows. If it doesn't, what I'll do is I will send you, I will send you the whole study so you can look at it yourself, all right? Because this is something that's a very important question that you're asking. So let me find it here in my information for you, and we'll pop that up. And while I do that, does anybody else have any other questions while I'm finding this information? And we will, let me see here. Okay, lesson one. For some reason, it's not allowing me to open up something when I'm in this program. Darn it. Don't know why. Ruth, do you have it there with you where you could pop it up and I could make you presenter because it's not, my computer is not allowing me to open it up. I can get in the document. I mean, I can't, but I can't put the document up. It's lesson one. And I kept all the links to I keep all the links to all the things that I show you guys. So that way, if anybody ever has any questions, just like Deborah had, I can send the information to you. So yeah, I go here and I go to, let me see. No, it won't let me get, I can click, but I can't get into the documents. So if Ruth, if you could put it up on your computer and then I could make you a presenter really quick. So let me see here what Ruth is telling me. She said which one, and I told her. Oh, and she also said she can add it to the material box. So yeah, Ruth, add that to the material box if you can. And she is going to do that now. I'm going to make Ruth presenter, and then I will just talk from her, um, from that presentation, and then we'll take it down. So Ruth, I'm going to go to you right now, and I'm going to make you presenter. Here we go. Because that's what we're here for, is to answer your questions. Okay, Ruth, you are now presenter. So if you could pop it up on the screen, that would be awesome. And share your screen. Here she goes. Okay, wonderful. There we are. Okay, I am going to, now Ruth, you're in control. So yeah, go down there to that study on sleep apnea. It's funny because you can tell you're in Ireland because it takes just a little bit longer for everything to focus in. Keep going. Okay. Oh, let's see. This was the children one. Okay. Nope. Keep going. This was about beta waves in the brain. Nope. Keep going. I think it's peppermint. It's the last one. Okay. So here it is. And this says it was. Let's go through it. The aim of the study is to prove the impact on the sample size was 25 individuals. They were instructed to apply on their foreheads. It was sleeping hours. It's, it doesn't say, but I have to say this. What I did is I took this study and I put it into as small of wording as I could. So it does not show here if they were using their CPAP machine or not. In the study itself, Deborah, it could show that. It's just that I took everything and I reduced it and took the main points. If they were putting it on their forehead and spraying it on a pillow, it's possible they could have been, huh? If they had that on their face. So, but what we can do is Ruth will. She said she's going to attach it, put it in the material box, and then you guys can download it. And also, Ruth, can you just put the link to the journal in there that I found it and the citation, and then that way they can just click and go right directly into it. She's answering me right now. So okay, I'm going to take the screen back, you guys, now. So that was a really good question and a really good point. So next time when I narrow things down, I'll make sure I add those things in if it was there. So I'm going to take the screen back. And Ruth, I'm going to make you not presenter. Oh, you're back to organizer. Excellent, Ruth. Good job. And now I'm going to put my stuff up and take the screen back. All right, here we go. And let's go back here and pop it up. And then if we have any other questions about that. All right, does anybody have any questions on the class that we did yesterday? Okay, for Sherry, she said, Lori, I would like to learn. Um, okay, here's a great one Sherry asked. She said, main question is, can I learn the reflexology remotely? Yes, you can. You can take it as a separate module because you're already, Sherry, I know you're already a clinical aromatherapist. So you can take it remotely. We'll offer it through GoToTraining through this right here, and we have videos, we have all the materials, everything's done. So yes, we will do that, and we can do that because we don't know if Andrea is going to be. She's in our level 3 class right now, and we don't know if Andrea is going to be able to make it to California this year from Ohio. So when we do the class with her, we'll offer it to other people too as a separate module. So yes, we'll keep you on that list. So Ruth put Sherry down for reflexology. Then Sherry says her husband, she says, uses it now for many years, a CPAP, and she says in fact it was one of the first one to break the insurance requirement. So that's great. And Susan says, for people who have lost their sense of smell, would flower essences be more suitable to use for sleep? You know, Susan, that is such a great question and idea. Yes, you could use it on them for sleep, of course, just like we discussed yesterday and the day before. It was because, let me see, not Christine. No, not Christine. Oh, her last name's only coming to me right now. Her last name's Massa. She asked the question, and I'm going to write it in the chat to you guys right now. You could do lavender. These are all flower essences now. Shelly, thank you so much. Shelly. Lavender, chamomile, and let me see what else was in there. You could use peppermint too. Peppermint, if people are having, a lot of times sleep is caused from metabolic problems. Remember we talked about the viscera, and a lot of times people are having digestive problems. They're having things going wrong with their liver, their gallbladder, their stomach. They have autoimmune challenges too, where their body's sending all these mixed messages, and so they can't get to sleep properly. Now, the other thing I think that we should think about is, again, as we were talking earlier about relationships and smell, we need to think about our relationship as far as how we're sleeping. Because a lot of times now people are going to sleep with the TV on. One person can fall asleep to the TV, but the other person cannot. Okay? So one person's going to sleep, the other person's not getting any rest. So then that's when we have to start making choices. My sleep is important. So I'm going to make another room for myself. Or you have some kind of automatic thing where it goes off. But we have to see what is fair in our relationships with people. And if you can't get your rest and you're foggy and you can't think clearly the next day, something has to change. So if you have one person who's snoring really loud and the other person can't sleep, it could be a good idea that you sleep in separate rooms and you have your own little domains and you get together when you want to get together. These are just some ideas for people. All right, so let's put these flower essences in here that we talked about. We also talked about orange blossom flower essence too. So I'm going to stick that in there, and you can order that. That doesn't come from the Flower Essence Services. That comes from another company, and we can send that information to you if you want that. Now, another good point that was just made here is, oh, okay. I will correct this really here. Sherry said it's not the CPAP machine, but a new dental device that is similar to a dental guard. Great, yes. And this can really help people. My daughter's boyfriend has sleep apnea, but not enough for a machine. And he has one of these. And she said it has really helped him with the snoring. So, that is a great thing to say, Sherry. Wonderful. Shannon, like Shannon said, you don't need to be able to smell to benefit from the essential oils. That is correct. You do have other receptors in your body, like we talked about. You have receptors all through your system. You have receptors in your pancreas, your kidneys. We don't even know where we have so many different receptors in our body for the essential oils to go into and do their job. So just because you can't smell it doesn't mean that you aren't getting some benefit from the essential oil. So think about that too. Great point that you just made, Shannon. Then Nancy says, I'm wondering about individual body blocks with respect to the areas on the Chinese time clock. Okay, so on the Chinese time clock, Ruth, if you could put that one up too, because I can't do that. Let's go back to that because I think this is really one of the most beneficial things. Every year we do a detox program, and this year it's coming up in March. And every day we have a call with all of the people participating as a group. First, I have an individual call, and then we have a group call with everybody. And each time, the question I ask is, are you sleeping? What time are you waking up? Because then I know what is happening with their program. And this is something as you guys, as therapists, can see with your clients too. When they start telling you, I'm waking up. Yeah, that is in class number 2, the Chinese slide, Ruth. So I'm going to turn my screen off and I'm going to let you put your screen up. And you'll be presenter again. Let me make you presenter. Okay, I'm going to make Ruth presenter. Whoops, if it'll let me. Yeah, Ruth did it herself. Okay. So here it is. So when I have people who are telling me that now this is very interesting. I'll give you an example of a student a client, I should say, participant in the detox program. She was not going to bed till 1 o'clock every single morning. So she'd wake up at 5 a.m. Excuse me, I'm backwards here. Sorry. Midnight's down here. It's at the bottom. So she would not go to bed till 1 a.m., but then she'd wake up at 5 a.m. because she had to pee. Then she would hear, and I think I talked about this yesterday, right through here, she couldn't go back to sleep. So then she'd fall back to sleep. Maybe she'd get to 8 o'clock, maybe 7:30 to 8, and then she'd just have to get up, right? Because she had to work, she had other things to do. Once she was getting her body back into balance, and I convinced her to go to bed between 9 and 11, and she'd always get to bed by 11, but the ninth hour, right? But she did it. Because you see, here is the metabolic balancing area. So if you're still doing things in this time right here, you should be slowing down. You should have started slowing down after dinner. Okay? Started slowing down here because this is our fire element right here, right? We've got it at 12 to 3 p.m. and we've got it from 7 to 11 here in this quadrant over here, right? So what happens is you have this time here to build your fire. And then we go into our water element, and then we go back to our fire element. Okay? Because here in water, when we're eating and we're taking the time to eat, We're building our bone marrow. We're storing our nutrients because what does the kidney do, right? I mean, if you look in Western medicine, the kidney balances our potassium and our sodium levels, doesn't it? So this is why it's really, really important that we take time here. And a lot of people are in their cars, aren't they, at this time? They're in their cars, they're driving fast because they're getting off work. Now, if they can get home and have a meal by 6, they could be lucky in certain cities, certain areas. So, and then by 7, here it's time for you to start relaxing, light reading, you know, and it's usually when couples will sit down with each other. They normally do. You know, they sit down with each other, whether they sit together, and that's a lot of times when couples start showing their affection towards each other. It really is. I see it all the time in couples. You know, I'll be out with people, and it's getting between 7 and 9, and you know they'll hold hands or give each other a little kiss or something like that. And so it's just a normal progression of the day. So when we here, when she started doing this, she then started waking up around 6 a.m. and she slept all night because here her gallbladder at 12 was able to rebuild her blood cells. And I've got to tell you, I took a class from someone who I thought that they were. I couldn't figure out why when I arrived to the class they had their head down on the desk, and then they saw me, they popped up. Well, they had told me that they were a night owl too. So they had these early meetings, but they really were exhausted. And see, it's because they can't build their blood. It's called building your red blood cells here, releasing your bile. How many people know someone who's had their gallbladder removed? Raise your hand. Quite a few of you, huh? Okay. So you can see how when if we say we're burning both ends of the candle, and really see when you say that, it's we're saying this, I'm burning both ends of the candle like this, that's fire. Okay? And when you burn out all your fire, then the other meridians in the body do not function well. Okay? It's like I was business partners with these two guys who were traveling all over the world, and they were in 46 countries. And they were flying from Sunday night and coming back to Paris on Thursdays. So they're in the sky all the time, going from Africa to Asia to Russia to, just all over the world. And then coming in on Friday morning, because when you leave China, you leave, like at 1 o'clock in the morning, 12 o'clock, and you arrive in Europe early in the morning. And then they would go straight to work Friday morning. Well, what was happening was we're starting to get big black circles under their eyes here. So I was going to China with them, and I was studying with Dr. Wong. And he goes, the problem is, he goes, and they were such wonderful guys, wonderful people, and they were doing such a beautiful job. It's just that the big, deep, deep, deep black circles, he goes, they're burning the fire out of their kidneys. And look, here we have fire, heart, small intestine, bladder, and kidney, right? And then if we don't have the fire here to give to our water, then the water, it sounds weird that you think fire, and water, they extinguish each other. Well, they can, but we have to have enough fire to have the chi of the kidney function. And we have to have enough water to make the steam come up, right? So there's the whole thing about elements. We could talk about this for days, but if you have a blockage, you need then to work on that, and you can make essential oil blends for those blockages. If someone tells you, I'm waking up here in the liver, then you could make them something to help with their liver. If you ever noticed children when they're sick and they have a cold, they'll wake up between 3 and 5 a.m. coughing. That's the biggest cough time. And it's because of the time of the lung. So then that's where you would work with the lungs there and help them with their lungs. If they're constipated, which is connected to the lungs too, the mucus isn't moving out of the system. Usually when people have a cold, they get constipated or they get diarrhea, which is a form of constipation. Then you would work on the large intestine to get everything moving and flowing, okay? All right, Nancy, does that answer your question? Let me go here because I can see, I just hope my chat isn't showing here. And Ruth's going to take her thing down and we're going to see here because I'm not in control of this. Ruth is. Ruth, let me see now. Okay, thank you, Ruth, so much. All right, I'm back. I'll share my screen now. Okay, and now let me go into the chat if I can. All right, the chat, and let me see here. Okay. Okay, what about someone who sleeps well midnight to 8? Midnight to 8 and is less healthy than 11 to 7. Yeah, I would do my best. I would do my best to get to sleep by 11 o'clock. I would start winding myself down earlier if I could. If the gallbladder has been removed, then you know the liver makes an area in it to like help with the bile. So if the gallbladder's been removed, then that means you're really going to have to work on your liver. The liver is life. So work on the liver. You know, there's herbal formulations that you can use, clean up the liver, clean up the blood, and then rebuild the blood. So there's things that you can do with herbs that you can do with that. I would clean up the liver first, and I would I can say I shouldn't say that. Sorry. I would clean up the liver, and then I would use herbs and I would eat foods that would build my blood. So beets build the blood, right? Parsley build the blood, and these kinds of things. So you could do that on the, physical side of it. And then also you could, that's why we use flowers and essential oils too, is because they work on the emotional aspect of the liver, the gallbladder, the heart, the small intestine, all the 12 different meridians. And that's what we're working on in our common sense community right now is we're doing that. We're working with flower essences and how they work on all the different meridians. And so it's a good point what Kathy said. It can be related to grief and sadness in your life also. So look at that too. Look at the emotional side of it. Okay, anybody else have any other questions about our previous class? Did I miss anything, Ruth? Question above. Oh, Catherine says, is it also related to grief and sadness in your life? The lung is, the metal is more sadness and grief, and the gallbladder and the liver is more bitterness. It can be bitterness and anger. But the thing that you need to remember is if anything happens to you emotionally, the liver is the first thing that is affected. The first thing in the body that is affected. And in traditional Chinese medicine, that's what they teach, is the liver is the first thing that is affected. So thank you so much for that. And then I think there is Deborah said something in here too, Ruth, if you can answer her about the slides and the material box. All right. And thank you, Sherry, for being here with us. Was there any other questions that we have about the class that we did the last 2 days? Okay. So I'm going to lower the hands then if those questions were answered. All right. So I want to thank all you guys for your great questions. And if questions come up as we're talking about the fast track program, then just let me know. We do have one hand up. Oh, yes. Go ahead, Ruth. Ruth just said that you guys wanted the slides for lesson 2. Go ahead and Ruth will do that for you guys, but we're only doing that because you guys showed up today. It's only for you. We're not giving out the slides to anybody else. So because you showed up today, fantastic. Okay, and Shannon has one more question here. Yeah, 2. No problem, you guys. That's what this is for. This is a question. Oh, good question, Shannon. Do I make a new roller ball for each client? I do not. I'll tell you what I do. When I do reflexology and aromatherapy is I do not do any roller balls because I would waste so much product. What I do is I buy the little 1-ounce amber bottles with droppers on them. Because when I'm doing reflexology and aromatherapy together, I am putting the oils on the feet and I can just drop them on the feet. And what I do is I make some pre-blends and I have them smell them. And then if they tell me something like today, I got a message from someone and said, "Can I please have an appointment? I'm so sorry." And I said, "Yes, in this, late this afternoon, right?" And so she tells me I can't have anything with eucalyptus. I can't have anything with cinnamon. What you can do is you can send them a little form ahead of time and they can tell you a little bit about their history. And then you could make up a special formula for them. However, I always make that a separate charge. Otherwise, I have some certain formulations that I use that I know the majority of people like, and if they tell me they don't have allergies to it. And what I do is, Shannon, I have them smell them. I put it on a little smell stick, and I have them smell them to know which one it is that they want. And then that way, I'm not, this roller is not just for that person. Now, the other option that you could do too is, which I haven't done, but this is something you could do is, if you use it on them, then you add that into part of their reflexology aromatherapy treatment and they take it home. How do you do that? Do you, Shannon, put it in the chat. Do you then put it on do you send it home with them, or how do you do that? Let us know. Because it's another option is you could include that in the, what the cost is for them, or it's an add-on. Because remember, we're helping people, but we also have to make a living. And that's the part of it that we have to look at too, is we can't be wasting product. And we also, the people, she says she puts her blends in a lotion and sends it home with the client. Excellent. Thank you, Shannon. That's excellent to know. So great. And she says, I'm trying to find the most efficient and effective way to practice. Yes, and it's kind of like you learn as you go too, like you're doing lotion, you're sending home with them. Me, I offer the product there for them to purchase if they want in a roller like this. They can buy it in a roller. That way they can take it home and use it too. So that is another thing that they can do. All right. Um, oh, and Terry, you had your hand up. Did you have a question? We can turn on your sound. Let me see here. Terry's hand up was up. Terry will turn your sound on. I'll send you an unmute request. And if anybody else wants to ask a question out loud, please do. Please feel free to do. We will unmute you. Okay, Terry.
Hi, thanks. My device would not let me go into the chat, so I
No
apologize.
problem. We understand.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention. I know you've got the fast track program coming up, but you also mentioned your spring cleanse program, and I just wanted to mention because I was kind of a long termer with that, and because I had gotten COVID 4 times, unbeknown to me, I was low on zinc. And so once they did the blood test, they found that out. And the parasites were like, wreaking havoc on my system. Plus, the COVID activated 4 different autoimmune diseases that I didn't even know I had, like Lyme's and chronic fatigue and all that. But the cleanse program really helped a lot because I know in the spring that's when the parasites are out. And I know you just kind of lightly touched on that. I just wanted to say how it really helped me. And I learned even more in-depth information on the body clock, the TCM, or the traditional Chinese medicine clock, among many, many, many other things. So just I wanted to mention that because I was a long-termer, and it just seems like everybody should go through that in the spring just to make sure you're clearing all the uck that's been hanging around your body all winter.
Thank you so much for that, Terry. Yeah, it's a really good program to do to cleanse your body and to also rebuild your system. So yes, and if people have had COVID, it works really good for that. This cleansing program that we have. So thank you so much for sharing. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thanks. Okay. So does anybody have any other questions about our sleep that we did? All right. So we're going to talk a little bit about our, whoops, I've got something up here, you guys. I have to move around a little bit. Sorry about that. Okay, we're going to be talking about our fast track aromatherapy program. And I know quite a few of you already on here are um, aromatherapists, but I'm glad to see you here and that you were excited to come and ask us more questions about your business. And our fast track program also includes our clinical aromatherapy program, which has the reflexology in it. It also has a module on flower essences in it. It has a module on emotional healing with your personality, and also has a module for the temperaments and how to balance the temperaments with essential oils. So everything is about essential oils, but what it does is it really helps you start finding your niche. And that's what we see in all of our aromatherapy programs is our students start finding their niche through the way we're teaching. And that's important. We all need to find our niche. None of us are the same. And that's another thing that's great about our program is because we know no one's the same. Yes, we're giving you the same information, but we understand that you learn differently. And some people are more hands-on. That's why in our fast track program, we're going to be showing you hands-on how to do things, just like we did in our class for sleep. Showing you how to make some blends. And Zoe will be teaching you about the botany, and she does botanical walks all the time. So she's going to really show you the plants and really help you understand that, because when we understand the signature of the plant, whether you're an aromatherapist, an herbalist, or a flower essence person, anytime you're working with plants, everyone goes, oh, botany, I can't do it. No, 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 no. You can do it. And once you realize what the flower is representing and what the leaves are representing of the plant, then you get more knowledge of how you can use it. That's what's great about learning botany. And so she's going to be teaching you some things where you can really recognize a plant and understand the family and where it comes from and why it works the way it is. This is the reason we have even medication today. is because people went out, and especially during wars, hate to say that, but especially during wars, the doctors or the guy who was taking care of the soldiers, he went out and looked at the plants around the area where they were having the war. So that way he could make poultices and he could make things. And he started figuring out what worked. And that's how we began our materia medica with plants. And then later on, they developed them into medications. So it's a fun class. We have a lot of fun. And we want you guys to really discover the powerful art of aromatherapy safely and effectively with hands-on experience in our group coaching calls, and also the scientific basis of essential oils, hydrosols, and carrier oils. So that way you can formulate things. You can make something up, and people, you'll have something, you can help them very quickly. That's the idea of it, is that way you blend and help them. Also, we give you the support. Just like we said, we give you the support so that way you can meet your goals and your dreams. And we're doing this, we have our professional program where you go through it, and once you have graduated from our program, then you're ready. And our exam that we give for professional aromatherapists is as close as we can get it to being a registered aromatherapist, because we do the same exact, things that they offer in their exam. We don't know their questions. You will become a registered aromatherapist, because every one of our students who have graduated as professional aromatherapists and then took the registered aromatherapy exam passed, and they're registered aromatherapist. So you can see that our program is hands-on, and it's so funny because sometimes I'll see my students and they will verbatim remember our information, you know, and then when someone comes to them and asks them a question, they have the answer. And it's people who never went to college. It's not like, they have a PhD or something, but they remember the information and they give out safe and effective information. And that's what we want. We want people to use essential oils safely and effectively, and not drinking oregano oil and giving it to their 3-year-old. That's what we don't want them to do. And so we're teaching you how not to do those kinds of crazy things. As we said before, our group coaching calls are hands-on, like we did in our sleep class. Also, when you are a professional aromatherapist or you take our clinical aromatherapy programs, you get our emotional healing workshop for free. Okay, that comes with it. It's a 1-day class. It's not completely 1 day, it's like 5-hour class. And it's online, and you take it with us, and we offer it to the public too. And we're doing, before COVID, I was going all over the United States teaching these classes, but then when COVID hit, it kind of broke that. And so we just started doing everything online. And so, yeah, you get that class for free. It's wonderful. And we all need that. Everybody needs to be helped, or they know someone who can be helped with using essential oils. And in this class, we also integrate the flower essences into the emotional healing, because we are a holistic school and we believe our students should look at their clients and themselves as a whole, and not just be picking apart everything and saying, oh yes, just this, it's just that. No, you are a whole. This thing could be in balance, and now we're going to bring you back to balance. So, and emotional healing is one of those ways to do it. We teach you how to do blending. Like, we did some basic things in our sleep class, but we teach you how to blend safely and effectively with carrier oils. And then understanding the true nature of essential oils. This is Zoe, my daughter, and she is the one who's going to be teaching you the botany. She's a registered aromatherapist, and she is a master herbalist from the School of Ecole de Plant in Paris, and now she's going to school in ecology. So she will be the teacher of the botany classes. And your supportive instructors are me, Lori, and Zoe and Sue. Sue, as you see, all the letters after her name. Ruth and I couldn't believe it. You know, I met Ruth at an herb class, right? And then Ruth met Sue through working with me. And she wrote our curriculum, and of course, her name's on the bottom of it, and we had never seen all the letters after her name. Well, don't don't let it make you feel like insecure. It's just that it's because she has 40 years of teaching experience, and what she was doing is she had her own practice at one time, helping children with ADD, ADHD, dyslexia, autism. And then she was hired by the University of London to teach master students who were teaching children who had these learning challenges. And it was great developing the curriculum with Sue because she understood my dyslexic brain and how to make the curriculum with the with me. And so that was awesome. So if anybody has any kind of learning challenges, we have someone who can help you. So just want to let you guys know that. So that's really super. And of course, we have Ruth, who is supporting you. And Ruth is our marketing manager, and she is there to support you and help you with any kind of technical challenges you have. And then also, when you are in our school, you get a curriculum, a 1-hour curriculum call with Sue. You get a 1-hour aromatherapy consultation with me, because we feel that the only way you can learn to be an aromatherapist is by having your own consultation and getting yourself well. So that way you can help others be well. And then with Ruth, you get a marketing. Once she teaches one class, she teaches one module. That's the business module. Sue teaches the curriculum module, and Zoe botany. And then you'll have a call with Ruth too. So you're getting 3 calls in our program, individual calls. And then each week on Thursday, it's Thursday from 10 a.m. Pacific time, which is 1 p.m. Eastern time, you have a call with us, a group coaching call. And let me go back here again. Those group coaching calls, are 1 hour. Then if you have any questions, we have a group chat too. If you don't get to the group coaching call, we have a Facebook chat that you can answer. I answer any questions for you. And that's usually on Tuesday mornings at 10:30 Eastern time. But if those questions are in there, I will answer them if I'm not there, or one of the other students are, because our other students are still helping our new students. So we have quite a great support system in our aromatherapy program. It's wonderful. And what else about our coaching calls too that I could tell you about? I think that's pretty much it. And Zoe has been on the research committee for the AIA. And so she was awarded the AIA Volunteer of the Year in 2023. And I was nominated for the Outstanding Achievement Award in 2024. And I'm going to be on the business committee. We're starting our business committee, and I'm real excited about that. So here's some of our student reviews. Thanks to aromatherapy certification program, I gained strong knowledge in aromatherapy, built my personal confidence, self-responsibility, and personal empowerment. I love attending the program and being part of the group during the entire program, and will continue being part of the community after I graduated. So this is Audrey. Audrey is French, and she came to the United States, and I met Audrey through Instagram or one of those social media platforms, and she decided to become one of our students. And she is still practicing. She's working for a company that sells essential oils, And then she has her own practice too, besides that. And she's got two beautiful, lovely children. Then we have Carla. Carla was already a certified natural health practitioner. And Carla had a lot of experience. She has a biofeedback machine, all these different things. And they both did such a beautiful job with their case studies and really helped people with depression and from toenail fungus to depression they worked on. And with Carla, she helped a man that she'd been working with quite a few years with a pattern he had. Every year, I think it was like in April, he would go to the hospital and have some kind of like attack, like an anxiety attack. And through working with him, and she was working with him on his diabetes and his high blood pressure. So the diabetes, the blood sugar went down, the blood pressure went down, and then he realized what was causing this anxiety, and it had come from something that had happened in him previously. So we can see as we're like an onion, and she was peeling the onion with him, right? The physical things were starting to go away, and then he was able then to be more aware and more consciously aware of what had happened emotionally for him to have this anxiety attack every year and have to go to the hospital. So you can see how working in our school, even though she'd already been a certified, natural health practitioner, but being in our school, she was able to help him on a bigger scale, more holistically. And so she was very happy for that. So she said empowering, rewarding, confidence building, discerning, integrating. Those are the positive words to describe how I felt after seeing my case studies finalized and passing the exam on essential oils through the Lori Hargis International School of Aromatherapy. So week 1, we discover aromatherapy through its history, introduction to botany, safety, quality, applications of essential oils, as well as chemistry and blending. Then we start your case studies, and we dive into anatomy, physiology, and essential oils for each system of the body. And then week 20 through 32, we develop your client skills through case studies and finalize your first 5, choose your research paper topic, and test your knowledge with in-class practical case studies and developing essential oil profiles. We also teach you how to present. Now, you might never want to present. It might not be your thing. That's okay. You can always have the camera turned off and just talk to us. But we do teach you how to present because that is the one way I learned so many things. Years ago, my teacher, my meditation teacher, we all got interested in essential oils. And so she said, let's do something. Each week, one student presents an essential oil profile. And we did. And so I had a book this thick of essential oil profiles, and it's how it started my book. So we can see how these things, they develop us as people, how we grow through learning and also presenting. And you always know something better when you teach it or you present it. You can read it about it and you learn something, right? And you can do it, but when you teach it, you also really get it because you learn other things. Wow, I didn't know that. Okay? So this is why we want people to be able to develop the essential oil profiles and to present them. And like I said, no one has to show their face or anything like that. But we do require that you do a little presentation. Week 33 through 40, finalize your case studies and research paper. Learn in detail about the major chemical families and get prepared for your final exam because we want you at the end to become a registered aromatherapist. Not only a professional aromatherapist in our school or a clinical aromatherapist, but we want you to be a registered aromatherapist because in that way you will keep up on your educational criteria. You keep up on the things like Zoe and I and our other students are in our school, and you are up to date in your aromatherapy, and you are registered, and people can find you and they know you are a registered aromatherapist and that you have taken the exam to prove that you are, okay? So how you sign up? The full payment is $2,597. Wow. And look at all what you get. Coaching calls, group coaching calls every single week, and also group chats, and also you get individual coaching calls and wonderful curriculum. I've been doing this now for 37 years, and we all have such valuable wisdom and knowledge to offer you, and we're so happy to do that. If you do the payment plan, it's $997 with 6 payments of $284. Now the deadline is January 18th, so let us know how many of you guys are ready to sign up and give us some. Now our previous students who have taken, we're not going to be doing our level 1 program. Our level 2 is level 1 and level 2 together professional. So, but our level 1 students are invited to come to our fast track program. So let me see what Ruth says here. How many of you are ready to sign up? Oh, okay, she is sending me, wow, that's great, Ruth. Okay, so she said there's quite a few comments looking for information on how to register. So Ruth is going to send that to you. She's going to put it in the chat box right now. She'll send it to everyone so you all have it and get signed up as soon as possible. And our first group coaching call will be January 30th. I think it's January 30th, the last Thursday of January. We will have our first group coaching call, and we will get a hold of you, of course, once you get signed up. So Ruth will send you the full payment and the payment plan for our upcoming fast track program we're so excited about. And let's go now to some more Q&A. And here we have one. So here's one from Marcia. She said, when I schedule a massage with a new therapist, should I ask what brand of oils they use? And if I don't like theirs, should I bring my own? You know, I think it depends on your massage therapist. If you have a close relationship with your massage therapist and they're not hooked into a certain brand or something like that, and you know that what you're using is organic, then yes, you could ask them that. It's not a problem, and they can tell you no, huh? Or they can say yes. So yeah, I would go ahead and ask them. I would do that. I would say, is it possible for us to do that? And if you have a certain blend that you're working with right now, an aromatherapist has made it for you, and I mean, if someone brought that to me, I would say, okay, sure, I'll help you do that. Or if they ask me, my so and so told me that I need to work with that, and I'd say, okay, well, we can do this or that. It just depends on who it is and how they feel about it. So yeah, I would ask. I just ask the question and see what they say. All right, does anybody have any questions? Whoops, what have I done here? Who knows? Does anybody have any questions about the aromatherapy program? Ruth, let me know. Okay, I see where Ruth sent you guys the information. Okay, she said someone asked about the individual modules. If someone wants an individual module, you need to email me at Lori, Lorrie. So I'm going to put my address in there correctly. Ruth, it's not in there right. Cargus.com, and let us know that. Okay, no problem. We all make mistakes, huh? So yeah, send an email to me if you want individual modules like the reflexology, then let us know that. And then when we go to do that with Andrea this year, because she's one of our level 3 who hasn't done the reflexology yet, then we will let you know and you can take that class with her. Okay. Another thing is we want to remind everyone who won books, if you want a book, please email me at lori@lorihargis.com so we have your address. If you're out of the country, we will send you a PDF file of each one of both booklets and of the book because we no longer can send it out. It's just too expensive for us. And the winner, drum roll, of the $300 consultation is Catherine Downey. Woohoo! We want to thank all of you guys for participating. It's absolutely wonderful. And Catherine, send me an email at lori@lorihargis.com. Okay, so join our fast track aromatherapy program. And if any of you guys have any further questions about the fast track aromatherapy program or about sleep and reflexology, please feel free to send a message to me at lori@lorihargis.com. We are so happy to have all of you with us today, and we want to thank you all so much for participating in this 3-part series. You guys are the best. And don't forget your essentials. Use your common sense. Au revoir.